There is a whole plethora of messages coming through, starting out with no, you're not going backwards. The energy, the nostalgic energies and memories that are coming up are processing out. There's this sense that I feel from the feminine collective of being so bored with processing the past events. And so I just want to honor that. And I get it. So, what I'm sensing with this and why it's coming up this way is it seems to be like memories, thoughts, patterns that are coming up to clear out. There is energies that are cleaning out around sadness, rejection. Um, wow, there's a whole bunch of them. Let's see. I don't even know. Let's just see what comes up. But some of the main other sides, the solutions that are wanting to come in, is really moving into the new and the true energies. Because what I feel is the sacred divine feminine collective, yes, is still working on some things, but as an overarching collective, has really processed a large majority of the initiation and process, at least within this pocket, right? Like the feminines have really done what they can do with what it was, right? So it's sort of like letting go of what it was so it can become what it is now. You know what I mean? And really welcoming in the new. And this is a big part of that transition into a deepening into the next phase. So there was a couple things that came through that feel important around this, especially for many of the feminines who have been more hermited over the last few years, who have been more to themselves. So there was two things. One, it's time to start uncloaking yourself in new and deeper ways. Of course, as you're ready, with this uncloaking, there may feel like a little bit of a tender or vulnerable energy because what is happening is this new version of you is being rebirthed on a broader scale into the collective world. Okay. And so, yes, you've been doing it, but now you're starting to unveil yourself in new and deeper ways. And so just give yourself the space and the grace to let that happen. The reason the uncloaking is very exceedingly important is that is how the new and the true and the things that are meant for you now are actually going to find you, right? So even for those of you who have been out and using your voice or in the public spotlight, you might actually start to realize as I'm bringing through this message that maybe you have been cloaking parts of yourself or staying in a comfort zone. And now you're being called to open up in new and deeper ways. I do feel like this is coming on a lot of different fronts. Yes, your public and social image, your relationships, a potential partnership, friendships, lots of different things. Like literally, you choose the area or areas. I know that it might feel overwhelming if you think about it with every single area. So just, speak with your higher self, feel what feels natural and aligned for you, and go that route. But it does feel important that as these old nostalgic energies exit, that we are uncloaking and allowing who we are now to be what is stepping forward. I've also been picking up on a stream. I'm feeling it. I think that many of the feminines might be picking up on this stream with the divine masculines or the masculine collective who are processing some nostalgia, but there's a very specific pocket that's coming forward, and it is an energy where the masculines feel safer processing the sadness, sort of listening to sad music, feeling nostalgic about the love that they lost or the things that are no longer in their life that they wish that they had. And there's sort of a seduction to this sadness that fulfills something slightly so that they don't feel pushed or propelled to actually move towards what they want. But as I'm saying this, what I'm sensing is that this specific type of nostalgia that the feminines are pretty bored with and ready to move on from is actually what will provide the space for the masculines to process that and through that. And what is coming through around this is actually what I might dive into here with some cards, because my sense is that that works for a time. But the masculines who are being called to evolve to their next phase as well, that pocket of seductive sadness is not going to be sustainable anymore, or it's not going to be satisfying in the way that it was in the past. And that actually is going to create some shifts. All right. So, you know what? Let's, something does want to come through with that. I had no idea what this was going to be like today. So, okay. You're actually having me pull out the traditional tarot. So, what do you want to show us about this old seduction of sadness and what the masculines and the feminines here watching can do to support moving through this process? Those who are in it and those who are sensing it on the outskirts of unraveling from it. Okay. So, oh wow. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords and the Magician. This feels like where the feminines went into deep transmutation, deep healing of the nervous system, deep processing of the traumas. And remember, I just said now the feminines, many are starting to feel kind of bored with this process. Not in that the feminines won't ever be doing it anymore, but it's more kind of like, okay, I actually know how to do this now. I'm ready to come out of hermit mode and I'm ready to start living because I feel like I can handle life again. I feel like not only life again, but this new version of me is ready to start building and enjoying life in a way that the feminines have never experienced before, right? Because this version of you has never been here before. And so that feels like the feminines and the magician energy are calling forth something new. And they're in this middle phase in between. Wow. Okay. So, how this is intersecting is this in between shared space. And it's like thawing out where the masculines were frozen, where their trauma was frozen. And then they would get those little pockets of release when a retrograde would come and they would get nostalgic and they could feel their feelings. And then it would be over and they would go back to what they were doing, almost like in a mummification state. But now what I'm sensing is that this is being opened and it won't be able to close again, is what is coming through. I want to pick a card in between the Four of Swords and the Magician because I feel like there's something in the middle. And I also feel like this is relevant messages for both the masculines and feminines. Because yes, the masculines may be holding that reflection in the physical, but there is a part of the feminine system that has been doing something similar and maybe having a seduction in that sadness energy, the seduction of the sadness, and sort of saying, staying safe. And this is why it's time to uncloak and let yourself free. You know, let your nervous system actually expand out of just processing trauma, right? It's time to like open up and start letting the other parts of you come online. So there is a shared space. The masculines are mirroring and reflecting for the feminines right now. It's why the feminines may be feeling it up in their system. And yes, you are bored with it, but it's actually good because I'm sensing as I'm saying this, the masculines are bored with it too. But this is where we start moving in tandem. Excuse me, this is where I talk with my hands too much. Oh, wow. Okay. So the feminine, the Empress flew out. Okay. Okay, let's get more with this. This to me does feel like, okay, what does the feminine need to know? This is, that embodiment into the physical world. Okay, so it's like this is the key piece to everything for the feminines. And I've actually been kind of contemplating doing a sacred feminine series. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Something like really more deeply and connected to the sacred feminine embodiment, like that divine feminine embodiment into physicality, where the human feminine and the divine feminine have come into one being in her sacred feminine. That's what sacred feminine means to me for whatever reason. It's just I like I like the subtle nuances of language because it's a way that we can deepen our expression and understanding of our human experience. Is it necessary? No, but it's just a way that helps me understand and connect to different energies and different aspects in those nuances and why that is attractive to me is because it's an expression of the depth and how deep we actually are as human beings, as souls, and how much potential and expression we truly hold. And it's so much more beyond our language. But those nuances and those different ways that we can express the essences helps to express more of the depth of who we are. And it's kind of like how Crayola always comes up with new colored crayons, right? It's a deeper expression of the creation. And it's a way that we can do it in our human form and our human expression, right? I don't get attached to it. I just enjoy the expression of the essences. Okay. Seven of Wands. Wow. Fell on the floor. And immediately, this is hitting home the sacred feminine landing. It's time to come out of your bubble. It's time to come out of your little safe space, although it is cozy and gorgeous there. It's not about getting rid of it. It's about taking this and letting it drop down. All of these wands to me are representing all of those areas of work life that you've been working on in your bubble. Now it's time to energize and seed those and actually let them come to life in a whole new way. Wow. Is just as I'm saying it, I see all of this gorgeousness not emptying out of the bubble, but sustaining and then actually letting it nourish the roots, let it nourish the seeds, right? Let your gorgeous, sacred feminine essence nourish all of those dreams, okay? This feels like why it's important to acknowledge that we're bored with processing in the old way. We're bored of the old memories. They're great and we're not dishonoring them. We accept everything that's happened up to now, but it is time for something new. It's time to start living now, right? It's time. You're ready. You're strong enough and you're ready, and it's all okay. Process what you need to process. Let the nostalgia come up. Let it process. This is not about avoiding anything. If anxiety is presenting, you call your essence and love into that memory or that place in your body and you embody deeper, right? Like, let it come in, let it land, let yourself, all of the things that you were scared of, let it come in, let yourself come into those places and spaces. I also sense one thing that came in yesterday is that some of the feminines are saying what they want, but I'm going to encourage you to check in. Are you holding some fears of it coming in, though? Are you really ready? Are you afraid? What if it doesn't come? Are you afraid if it does actually come? Right? You want to start letting yourself really feel into these, and there is zero judgment. Zero. Because 99% of your essence can be ready for something, and just that 1% might be scared out of your mind, and that is okay. You just hold that part of yourself, my love. Let her learn how to drop in and be held by you, by your connection to earth, by your connection to your higher self. The sacred feminines are key to the next phase. The sacred masculines are key to the next phase. But it's funny how we always talk about the sacred feminines focusing on herself. And I know that you guys have been doing it, but what I'm seeing, perspective I'm being shown is like she's really ready to focus on herself now. And what am also seeing with that is it actually gives the masculine the space to see you for who you truly are. But you have to let yourself uncloak and be seen. All right. This feels big and important, and I'm here for it. I actually am excited. And if you guys think that you would like a Sacred Feminine series of videos or supports, drop it in the comments. I'll put all my information in the pinned comments. And let's just open up a conversation. Let it open up. What do you want to talk about? What do you want support with? What do you, as a sacred feminine, embodying into your potential, what do you want to focus on? What do you want support with? Okay. Wow. This feels like where the feminines are embodying their magic, their magician, their empress essence, all of it manifesting into physical form. It's there. You've been working on it. The pillars are there, the pieces are there, but it's time to let yourself come out of the seduction of sadness and drop down into those roots. All right, my loves. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. Good work. This is exciting. A very gorgeous place to be. We are ready to upgrade. All right, my loves. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye.